Does traveling change a person? Well, there's really only one way to find out. Every trip has a soundtrack. An album isn't just music, it's a place, a moment, a feeling frozen in time. When I travel, I don't just collect photos or videos, I collect songs, because months later when I press play, I'm not hearing music, I'm reminiscing my memories. An album becomes a chapter of the journey, one record for early mornings and quiet walks, another for long drives and open roads, unfamiliar skies. Each track documents what the camera can't, how it felt to be there. Travel really changes how you hear music, and music changes how you remember travel. So when the trip is over, I don't look back on it, I press play and let the journey unfold like an album from the first track to the last. There are 2 steps every girl takes to initiate change. The first, well, obviously picking out a new wardrobe. The second, well, let's just say hair holds memories.
We already booked the Airbnb. We're here renting a car.
Everyone has that one group chat, the one where trips get talked about way more than they're actually planned. Ideas get hyped, dates get locked in, and somehow nothing ever happens. Getting a trip out of the group chat takes more than excitement. It takes action.
Maria and I's flight just got canceled to New Zealand, so we got new flight tickets, something to eat.
I'm tired, hungry. I just want to go there at this point, so.
And as you can just see, by no means is travel glamorous. We faced an overwhelming amount of issues when making the trek across the world. A flight cancellation while in air, making it impossible to see an old friend en route, almost losing my luggage and traveling to the wrong hotel twice. But that's why this journey matters. It isn't about where I'm going, it's about what I'm learning through it all. Learning how to move forward even when things don't line up perfectly. Learning how to adapt, to commit, and to trust myself through the unknown. I never expected this trip to be easy, I expected it to change me, and when I come back, I won't just have stories or footage, I'll have growth, and at the end of the day, that's something that's really important to me. Mom's room.
Here's our room.
Now, had to stop and smell the flowers.
She's got a blister.
I get a blister, so now I'm walking like this.
By no means did day one for euphoric like they represent it as in the movies. It was my first time ever stepping into a foreign city, the city of Auckland, where everything felt new at once. I was overwhelmed with new streets, new faces, new behaviors, and all around, it was the first time I've actually felt a sense of distance from home. We pushed through the exhaustion, wandered with no real plan, got temporary tattoos just to mark the moment, and luckily only one of us ever flew blisters.
High five. More like high fist. Charging our phones right now because they're dying. And so is he. He needs to recharge. He's recharging both his phone and his energy right now. Cheers. I got defeated by the burger. You're gonna get defeated. He's gonna get defeated by the burger.
It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that's what this trip is about. Not just where I am, but what I'm learning by being here. Day one wasn't about having it all figured out, it was about showing up, starting the journey, and letting the experience begin.
Bet you'll never guess which toe got stubbed.
Great turn, great turn. Alright. If there's anything I think that's gonna mess me up, it's the windshield. That's not the worst thing in the world though. Ain't that beautiful?
Oh, so smooth. So smooth.
I didn't know Camden all that well before this trip. We were kind of just 2 people in the same place with the same plan. But travel has a way of speeding things up. Somewhere between the long days, new places, and honest conversations, we opened up pretty quickly. And by the end of it, what started as a trip turned into real friendship, and that's something I didn't expect, but I do really value.
Isn't that crazy how nature formed around the woods? Oh! Alright. This is a terrible idea. Who would do this? This is terrible. Totally agree.
Being far from home strips things back. There's less pretending, less small talk, and more real conversations. You see how someone handles stress and uncertainty, and especially the unknown. And you learn a lot about yourself too. This trip reminded me that some of the strongest connections come from shared experiences, not long histories. Sometimes all it takes is showing up, being open, and letting the journey do the rest.
Wait, watch out, watch out. Just kidding.
What do you got? Nice.
Yeah, Rusty's the video.
What surprised me the most so far is how different this trip feels from what I expected. Before coming out here, I thought travel would feel nonstop. Always moving, always exciting, and always something happening. I expected every day to feel big, like something I'd want to document perfectly. I thought being far from home would feel overwhelming, or at least constantly unfamiliar. It's not that we didn't fill our days to the brim, it's how we filled them. There was no rush to jump from place to place. I was surprised on how calm it's been. The pace feels slower, the city's less rushed, people seem to be more present. There's less pressure to be doing something all the time, and more room just to exist in a place. Being far from home doesn't feel chaotic, it actually feels more grounding. I've had more moments of just walking, sitting, or thinking than I expected, and these moments have stuck with me more than the big landmarks that we see. One small moment that stayed with me was realizing how normal everything still feels, even though I'm on the other side of the world. Sitting somewhere new, doing something ordinary, and realizing life just keeps going, just in a different setting. It's changed how I think about travel. I don't feel the need to rush through experiences or chase constant excitement. The trip has shown me that growth doesn't always come from big moments. It comes from slowing down, paying attention, and letting a place change you quietly. On our last full day in New Zealand, I forced everyone to wake up early with me to watch the sunrise on Mount Eden, a dormant volcano on the outskirts of the city of Auckland. There's something about watching the sunrise that just changes the tone of your entire day. Waking up early isn't always easy, but seeing the sky slowly light up makes it feel totally worth it. It's quiet, everything's slower, and for a moment, it feels like the day hasn't even started yet, like you're getting a head start on it. Sunrises make me feel more productive, not because I've done anything yet, but because I've already shown up. Starting the day intentionally puts me in a better mindset. I feel more focused, more present, and more excited to actually do things instead of rushing into them. It's like the day unfolds instead of hitting you all at once like a brick. I think a part of why sunrise has an effect is because it forces you to slow down. There's no skipping ahead, no speeding it up. You have to sit there and watch it happen. And in doing that, you're not on your phone, you're not thinking about everything you need to do, just where you are. Seeing the sun comes up feels like a reset, and just a reminder that every day starts fresh, no matter what happens the day before. Starting the day with the sunrise doesn't make life easier, but it makes it feel more intentional, and that alone changes how the rest of the day goes.
He even got a boo-boo on his finger and he
got a boo-boo.
He has to get a stitch. I'm stuck with him for another 2 weeks. I cut my finger on my mom's ring. I hope I can still dance. Let's try this.
Thai sweet chili Doritos. Here, grab one.
Leaving New Zealand felt like flipping a double-sided album. One side was just 3 of us, moving at our own pace and figuring things out as we went. Then we landed in Australia and dropped the needle on the second side. 12 people, a full camping trip, and the start of our study abroad program. Overnight, everything shifted. More people, more energy, more structure. It took a second to adjust, but it did feel right. It was the same journey, just a different sound, just like the new side of an album playing. Chia seed pudding 2 of the day. Nice.
Why did you say?
One thing I really expected coming to Australia was a big cultural shift, especially with the music. I thought the radio would sound completely different, like I'd be introduced to a whole new soundtrack right away. And while there is new music here, what surprised me most was how unfamiliar it all felt.
Looks like a frog.
We'd be walking around or sitting at a restaurant or in a hotel, and the radio would be playing Billy Joel, the Eagles, or even Bruno Mars. Songs I've heard hundreds of times before, suddenly playing on the other side of the world. It was weirdly comforting. You know, there was something grounding about hearing music I listened to at home while being so far from home. It made me realize how universal music really is. No matter where you are, certain songs just connect people. They cross borders without you even noticing. One minute you're in Australia, the next you're mentally back in your car at home singing along to the same chorus. That familiarity made the transition easier. It made the place feel less foreign and more lived in, like I could exist there instead of just visiting. At the same time, it changed how I listened to those songs. Hearing them in a new environment gave them a new meaning. They get tied down to different memories, different roads, and different moments. Now when I hear those songs again, I won't just think about home, I'll think about being here, driving through Australia, windows down, realizing that even halfway across the world, some things still feel familiar. Our first day on camp, we learned a huge lesson. Chopping wood is way harder than it looks. We all took turns, missed a lot, and thought we had way more strength than technique. It was frustrating at first, especially knowing we, quote, needed to chop wood to eat. But eventually, and after enough tries, a few clean splits finally happened, and we got the fire going, and we earned our dinner. It wasn't pretty, but it worked, and honestly, that made it 10 times better.
1, 2, 1, 2. Then we turn.
I just
Like that. Wow. Oh, no. You grab having
bully grub.
One person who really stood out to me on this trip was Shannon, one of the guides from Bower Camp Co. The first real conversation I had with her was on the very first night, sitting around the campfire. It was one of those quiet moments where people start opening up a little bit more. I mentioned that I was interested in solo travel and trying to figure out how to do it in a realistic, affordable way, and she immediately met me where I was at. Shannon travels a lot. She'll work for a solid part of the year, then spend the rest of her time volunteering with Worldwide Abroad program. Hearing the way that she talked about it made travel feel less like a dream and more like something actually doable. She didn't romanticize it or make it feel like out of reach. She just spoke honestly, confidently, and with experience behind every word. What really stuck with me is how grounded she is. She's incredibly well-spoken, but never in a way that feels intimidating. She's empowering without even trying to be, always speaking positively and uplifting the people around her. You can tell she genuinely believes in others and what they are capable of, and that energy spreads fast in a group. She is also insanely adventurous, always down to go out and try something new or say yes to whatever the day brings. Being around someone like that makes you want to move differently, take more chances, trust yourself, and stop overthinking everything. Honestly, Shannon is one of those people you meet and immediately think, yeah, that's the person I want to be someday. And I'm really grateful I got to learn from her, even in small moments during this trip.
I just lost this race. I'll beat them next time. They look like ants. Have to.
They don't stick. Oh wait, that one doesn't one. That's it.
Hiking is one of those things that sounds simple until you're actually doing it. You're just walking, but somehow it becomes way more than that. When you're hiking, there's no shortcuts. You move at the pace your body allows, and the only way forward is step by step. It forces you to slow down whether you want to or not. What I like most about hiking is how quickly everything else fades out. There's no real schedule, no constant notifications, no pressure to multitask. You're focused on the trail, your breathing, and what's right in front of you. Even when it's hard or your legs are burning, it feels honest. and you earn every view, every break, and every moment of rest. There's also something about being surrounded by nature that puts everything into perspective. Problems that felt big start to feel smaller, thoughts get clearer, you end up thinking about things you didn't even know you needed to process. And sometimes you're not thinking at all, you're just there, fully present, which doesn't happen very often. By the time you reach the top or turn back around, it's not just about the destination. It's about how you got there and what changed along the way. Hiking reminds me that progress doesn't have to be fast to be meaningful. As long as you keep moving, you're getting somewhere, and sometimes that's enough.
They hear a voice in the hall outside and hope that it just passes by.
That rhymes.
Natalie. Air cheers. I can't reach that far.
Cam. Cheers. Boom. Yo, this is the
They will not listen to it.
Twinning.
So nobody tells
Why did the cow cross the road?
To get to the
To block the drivers.
I know you're thinking of something.
He's better with us. He's about to beat women.
I'm
better.
not beating women, I'm beating Maria. She's a man.
Making up for the love you've been denying you could ever feel. I'm not above doing anything to restore your
Yo, vlog, welcome back. Just punched Ethan in the balls.
people see through the eyes of the old before they ever get a look.
Australian rum.
No.
I'm only willing to hear
One thing that's been kind of crazy to see on this trip is how fast the environment changes. In New Zealand, we were surrounded by open land and sheep farms, wide and quiet and almost empty feeling. Then we headed into Australia and suddenly we're in Girraween National Park with massive rocks, dry landscapes, and completely different terrain. And not long after that, we're in Border Ranges rainforest where everything's green, dense, and alive. What's wild is how close all of this is as well. You don't travel that far, but it feels like you've jumped into a completely different world every time. The air changes, the sounds change, even the way that you move through the space feels completely different. It puts into perspective how much variety there is packed in such a small distance and how quickly nature can shift. Being able to experience all of this in one trip makes you realize how diverse these places really are, and how much there is to take in when you actually slow down and notice it.
some people find that it's easier to hate than to wait anymore.
In 60-ish years, the scientists are like, we need someone to go into the black hole. I'm going in.
I know you're gonna keep
Being off the grid is way different than I expected. At first, it feels uncomfortable. No service, no constant updates, no quick way to look something up or distract yourself. You realize pretty fast how much you rely on being connected even when you don't think you do. But after a while, that discomfort fades. Your sense of time changes, days start to feel longer, but in a good way, like you're actually living inside them instead of rushing through. You pay more attention to where you are and who you're with, conversations last longer, and silence stops feeling awkward. What surprised me the most is how freeing it feels. Without notifications or outside noise, your thoughts get clear. You're more present and more aware of small things. Sounds, light, movement, even boredom becomes productive. It forces you to slow down and sit with yourself, which isn't always easy but ends up being really valuable. It also made me think about how different things would be if we switched entirely to something like flip phones or limited digital access. When you can't constantly look everything up, questions don't end right away, they turn into conversations. You ask people around you, you learn from strangers, and sometimes those small questions lead to unexpected connections and even new friendships as you travel. Being off the grid doesn't mean escaping reality. If anything, it pulls you deeper into it. You're more aware of your surroundings, your routines, and your own habits. And when you finally reconnect, you realize how much of that noise you don't actually need. It's not something I'd like or want all the time, but it's something I definitely carry with me moving forward. Throughout my time in New Zealand and Australia, I found myself making more of an effort to journal. Journaling has quietly changed the way I talk to myself. Writing things down makes my thoughts feel more fluid instead of scattered. I'm able to follow them, work through them, and actually understand what's going on in my head. Most of the time, it turns things more positive, and when it doesn't, I can still process it instead of letting it sit there. It's brought me more clarity and a sense of groundedness I didn't realize I was missing.
Did you ever make it back to Byron Bay the day you told me? Quit drinking and thinking that I was gonna die. Worried about all those kids in the house tearing picture frames down. Our fathers were never around when we were younger. So let me
Cam and Ethan are about to get schooled by me and Natalie.
dragging on a plastic cigarette.
One thing I've really liked about staying in hostels is how easy it is to meet people. Cam and I were at the bar and someone noticed we had the same hostel band as him, so he asked us to play pool with him and his buddy. It was such a small thing, but it turned into a full conversation and a fun night. Moments like that make travel feel way more connected and spontaneous than I had expected.
Hey guys, what are we eating here? Froyo.
Froyo. Yo, give a Froyo tour.
And we got the snickerdoodle.
Was a show before, deep in the hands of another. My brother had told me to leave, but I didn't believe the evil beneath some people you meet out in Queens.
Walking on the bay. Just walked over there.
Came down the other day in Byron Bay, made me feel so alone. So I just went home and scribbled some poem that I know that you'll never read.
This scallop, sweet chili chicken. Ethan, Dennis.
Maria.
She's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy.
Hey guys, it's my toothbrush. That's been
not
here.
what you
Don't even try to understand.
Yeah, they are. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Down under.
Yeah.
Or should I say, Bob.
One of my favorite grounding therapies is the blue theory. This is basically the idea that being around water naturally calms the mind. And honestly, after this trip, especially at Yuraygir and Byron Bay, it makes a lot of sense. Anytime we were near the ocean, a creek, or even hearing water in the background, everything felt slower and quieter in my head. There's something about water that doesn't demand your attention, but still holds it. You can stare at it without trying. The movement is constant but never rushed, and you think your mind starts to match the rhythm. Thoughts don't stop, but they soften. They feel less sharp and less overwhelming. I also think water gives you a sense of perspective. It reminds you of how small you are in a way that's comforting instead of intimidating. Standing near something that's been moving so long before you got there and will keep moving after you leave makes your problems feel more manageable. Whether it's the color or just the openness of it, the water creates a space to breathe. It doesn't solve anything, but gives your mind a room to process. And sometimes that calm is exactly what you need to reset and move forward.
Which is not that you.
Cam and his caterpillar friend.
To answer the overarching question, does travel change a person? I would definitely answer yes. This trip has changed me in ways I didn't really expect. Not in some huge dramatic way, but in quieter ones that actually stick. I've become more comfortable with uncertainty, more okay with plans changing, and more trusting of myself to figure things out as I go. I've learned how much I value slowing down, taking time to be present, to notice where I am and who I'm with, instead of rushing to the next thing. I've gotten better at listening to other people and to myself. My thoughts feel clearer, more intentional, and I don't feel the same need to fill every moment with noise. What I'm really taking away from this experience is confidence. Not loud confidence, but a calm kind that comes from knowing I can adapt, connect with people, and handle unfamiliar situations. I'm also taking home a deeper appreciation for simplicity. Shared meals, long conversations, early mornings, and small moments that end up meaning the most. This trip isn't something I'm leaving behind when I go home. The growth, the perspective, and the way I've learned to move through the world a little more intentionally, that's what I'm carrying with me moving forward.
Get out of my frame. Guys, we just unlocked sunrise by running into the water.
My French toast, wacky, it's down under.
Raising my glass to all of you and this beautiful journey that we went on together. Oh yeah, let's get our attention.
I'm really grateful for the people I met on this trip. From the guides at Bower Camp Go, Shannon, Bob, and Magnum, who created such a supportive environment, to my newfound classmates who quickly started to feel like friends. Everyone brought something different to the experience and made each day feel more meaningful. I'm especially thankful for Sarah, my professor, whose guidance and support played a huge role in shaping this trip. Overall, the conversations, the shared moments, and the sense of community made this journey about so much more than just the places we visited. At the end of the day, it's the people I met that made this experience what it was.
Did you ever make it back to Byron Bay the day you told me?
Shout out to Auntie Sarah, our amazing professor. Thank you so much for being here.
Same time.
Morning, bye, hi.